And welcome to the Confound Millennial, starring Steven Stirvin Michaels and featuring Izzy the Gent of everything but the everything. Let me start out here real quick, Izzy. I myself am a metalhead and pop punk fan. So when I heard this at first, I was a little skeptical, and then immediately after, I'm dancing around with it stuck in my head. I love it. It's not what I listen to usually, but I love this song, Blue Sun.
Rad, man.
So, what genre would you call this yourself? They told me indie rock, but you know, everybody always has their own thing, that whether it's what it's promoted as or not. What do you consider your music as?
I, I I think it's a mix of a couple of things. I would say it's a little bit punk rock, a little bit rock and roll, a little bit indie rock. But Blue Sun, the the chorus to me is it's kind of garagey punk, and the verses are a little more on the indie rock. And I believe the reason it has that feel is because I wrote the choruses, and I'm not a very like sharp guitar player. I'm pretty choppy, and they're a little bit choppy like that. And then the verses are so beautiful. My friend, who is a talented guitar player, he wrote that, and the combination of those two kind of styles, I think, is what makes the track unique. With the addition of Olivia coming on and just completely slaying the song.
Yeah, she's a very good singer, and you know, I say that about a lot of the people I have on, but you know, the thing is, I don't have people on that don't sound good, and
Yeah,
sounds that was going on, man.
right on, man. Yeah, and like you, I love metal. I grew up with Sepultura, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera. I went to go see them with White Zombie. I made the huge mistake of wearing these blue etnies, and after being pushed to the front, doing a little moshing and getting thrown over the fence, when I left the concert, my blue etnies, baby blue, were black from everybody stepping on them. It was a good show.
Oh man, I wore a gray shirt to a Guar concert one time. I don't know if you know who they are,
Oh yeah,
but I left completely red.
there's some bands that I've heard over the years, and I've seen the pictures, but when I actually heard them, I was a little surprised. And Guar was one of them, because I had seen the pictures before I actually heard the music, and when I heard the music finally, I was like, oh, this is punk rock. This I thought it was going to be more like, I don't know, like Cannibal Corpse or something, but it was no. It's like
Right.
it's catchy punk rock, with an edge, of course. But I was like, oh man, I could just now these shows like make that much more sense to me.
But so I know a little bit about you. The people listening at this point know a little bit about Blue Sun, but I usually ask it first for a quick description of yourself. But I just wanted to get into that song first. But so who are you, Izzy?
I would say I hate to use the term lifelong musician, but I started playing when I was 14, and I've always liked being in a band and playing music. I actually recall when I was in eighth grade, our teacher said, I want you to write a letter to your future self. I'll try to mail it to you guys in 10 years. And I remember writing like, I want to be in a band. I want to be sponsored by Ernie Ball Strings, and none of that happened. I dropped out of the band scene for a while, I've always wanted to play music, and after all these different episodes of my life of being in music, it felt like it was just right to start my own project and really take the reins of writing and producing and putting together music that I hear, as opposed to casting a vote.
So, what finally pushed you into pursuing it?
Uh, I would probably say um, old age. Maybe as I become older, I become crankier. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's stupid. But yeah, like kind of with the last couple of bands I was in, uh, I just felt like we were always at odds with the structure, with the next steps for the band, and I towards the end I was like, I'm like, I just want to do this on my own. I'm tired of like casting a vote and feeling like, oh, it's not going my way, and not so much out of selfishness, but I think just out of I've tried that. This is the end of that road, and let's start a new road and let's see where that goes.
You needed the creative freedom.
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've been pretty blessed, and most of the projects I've been involved with, all the people that wrote the songs, like I was always 100% behind. It was like they could do no wrong in my eyes. Whenever I would hear what they would create, I was like, oh well, this is amazing. Like of course I want to be a part of this. But towards the end, with the projects that I was in, at that time, um, I just didn't feel like the we were on the same page. And I guess that's the creative freedom that you speak of.
Right. It's it's I've been lucky enough to know people in bands and know bands that get along very well, but it's always, you're shoving at least three, four, maybe more sometimes people. And I was talking about this on the last episode. A band is almost a person itself. It's got its own personality, it's got its own needs, wants. But when you dissect it, it's multiple people with all of that themselves. So sometimes the personalities of the individuals don't always connect with the personality of the band itself, if that makes any sense.
Oh no, absolutely, and people grow, people change, and that's something that I didn't understand. Um, Kind of earlier on, I would ask my friend, I'm like, why is it that these bands that are kind of on the local scene, on the verge of breaking, and then we all think they're going to be the next big band, and then all of a sudden they break up? Like I didn't really understand that after like you put in 8 years, 6 years, however long, and now I understand that people change. There's not even so much jealousies or whatever within the band where someone may think so and so is getting more attention, but just maybe this person's heart isn't into it as much as everybody else, and they have new interests in their lives that pull them out of the band. And next thing you know, the band just doesn't gel the same without that particular individual, and then it's the death of another band.
And that's just life. I'm 26, so I'm just now coming to terms with that lesson of people changing.
Yeah.
'Cause I was homeschooled, so all my friends I've had since I was 13. And 13 years. And then this past year, me and a few have gone different ways, and that's just life. But at first it was difficult to grasp that because I'd never really been in that position before.
Yeah. Most of us, we want to believe that we're going to be with the people that are in our circle, indefinitely. But aside from people moving away or tragedies of life, sometimes you just grow apart from somebody. Your interests change, their interests change, and next thing you know, you don't really communicate on the same level as you do, which makes you appreciate those friends that you always communicate. Always kind of seem to be on the same vibe, no matter what.
It's like I don't mean to talk about myself so much, but I used to
Oh,
have
you're good.
a co-host to this show, and we're I love him to death, but he wanted to work for a church, and I wanted to have whatever band I wanted on.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Yeah,
um, yeah,
there was a divide, and we're I'm still cool with them, but like whatever.
totally, totally.
Like people grow, people change, and people want different things.
The To me, the most comparable situation of that was the band that I played with it was called the Frail. Like I think I love being in this band more than the singer whose band it was, and I I thought I was going to be in that band forever. I love being in it. I love telling people I was in the band, playing shows like the whole nine. And yeah, towards the end, we kind of just drifted apart, and there was a period where we didn't talk, and it was really nice to reconnect with him, you know, and just be like, hey man, like I still love you. Like I'm really glad that we're still friends and we're still talking, because uh yeah, just even though our lives went two different ways, and it's just it's all love at the end, and I'm glad we're still good friends, you know.
You know, you mentioned the band being the singer's band. It's it's weird in this day and age. You always kind of think of it like that because of front men and how we're used to seeing the singer kind of take charge. And
Yeah,
but you know, there's a couple bands that I've talked with where like the drummer is the leader,
yeah,
and it's
it's no, no, you're absolutely right. I guess it's really who takes the lead, you know. And we're so accustomed to as the singer is kind of that person making all the executive decisions, if you will. But yeah, in more cases than not. Actually, I find that the drummer is usually the most talented person in the band. Even though the ongoing joke is, what do you call a guy that hangs around musicians? It's the drummer.
I got a buddy of mine that he's a drummer, and he always says that he loves having the best seat in the house, right behind or right between the bassist and the guitarist.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's for sure.
But so I'm sorry, I was thinking about the band leading thing again. So when did you or you decided, you know, that you needed this creative freedom? What are you planning on doing with it? Is it all like, are you going? I've seen some people take their own lead with this and just drop singles that sound nothing exactly alike, or drop singles that are kind of in the same vein of music as the rest. Is there an album coming? Questions like that.
Yeah, yeah. Some of it is kind of dictated by the singer, because I like to move around to different singers. I quickly found out that which makes like it's a no brainer. Like when you bring on so and so, they have a certain energy about them, and they take the song in a certain direction, and so takes a like for example Tobias. I've recorded the most songs with him, and every song that we've done together, they all seem to go a certain way, and I with working with Sophia, that was when I was like, okay, as much as I want to keep working with Tobias, if I want to broaden this sound and broaden the possible people that it might reach, I need to keep changing it up, and that's why I want to keep changing the singers. But I have these ideas that I kind of that swirl around in my head of maybe doing like a small EP with just one singer, like maybe like a 2 song release or 4 song release with just that singer, as opposed and in addition to continuing to roll out these singles. But I don't anticipate doing more than an EP, because after 4 songs, I think it just starts to get expensive, and then the songs kind of get lost in the wash when you have like 10 songs. The focus begins to you begin to lose focus as a listener, I guess. And if we just kind of do the slow drip, I my hope is that is we're able to draw more attention to the project that way than an album a year where there's just that gap, because people have a small attention span. I have no attention span, so I can totally relate to. I need constant yeah. I need
But
constant releases.
that's it's actually, you know, it's kind of a cool thing. We live in a time where, you know, I mean, in the course of humanity, we haven't really had much time at all with music releases, you know, and albums and stuff, just since vinyl was around. But, you know, now in the grand scheme of music as it's existed, we're in this time where you can do that. You can release EPs, and just do that, as opposed to having to have a whole CD or tape or whatever in the past.
Even because of the cost to reproduce some of these things, like a CD or a tape or even vinyl, all of it has shrunken significantly. So even if you wanted to release a, a run of 10 vinyls, you can. Someone just introduced a thing called, like, it's a lather cut. It's kind of vinyl cut to order, so you don't have to do a 500 run. You could say, I want 3, I want 6, and just do these, like, kind of limited pressings, so you're not stuck with or over committed to a huge, bulk load. And my friend was telling me that he thinks it's great to kind of make sure you have something at all your shows. Give the people that want to buy something, something to buy, and again, like, low commitment. Price is a little higher, but at least you have something that you can kind of keep moving and releasing.
And like, kind of another point that I was thinking about is just in the world we are in with streaming. You don't even have to release any of that if you don't want to. People can just have you on your computer, phone, whatever, and it's easier that way to the delivery method is so much easier for people that want to just release a couple EPs a year instead of one big, or a couple singles a year, an EP or two, instead of one big full out album.
Yeah, the versatility that a digital release gives you is just, it's so good. I mean, you don't have to have the production costs of getting something copied and mastered, like, for duplication purposes. You can just go right from your computer or from the session, upload it to CD Baby, and your record's out. I mean, that's it. You're avoiding all these other steps. I'm all about it. I really enjoy it.
Now, CD Baby, I've never heard of that before. What is that?
It's a distributing service that so if you're putting out music, you go to CD Baby, and you type in your art, your name. They give you a code, like a an ID code. So whenever anybody listens to your music, it gets tracked. They put it on all the websites, Apple Music, Spotify, and so that's kind of like your middleman that otherwise a label or someone else would do. Now you can go right to that. You don't have to deal with all these other things that were kind of a mystery before. It's like, how do I get my music on Spotify? CD Baby.
Yeah. It's like if it's very much like the music version of Anchor for podcasters. It does the same thing that does. And I know a lot of podcasters, including myself, that wouldn't have even been into the business at all if it wasn't for that website being able to distribute it to all the places at once.
I don't know much about outside of music with technology. It's amazing I can even log into my own email account sometimes. But Twitch is kind of the same thing, though, isn't it? Like, but for video, I don't really know how this.
Well, Twitch is more like its own kind of YouTube.
Oh, okay.
It's primarily, it was designed for video games and streaming video game stuff. Like a lot of people are using it for different things, and there's actually a lot of I don't want to say bad blood, but the internet is not having it right now. A bunch of people not playing games, using it for other purposes.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You can't tell I'm a bit of a nerd. But that's kind of, our show it's about a mix between music, nerdy stuff, and mental health. So anytime somebody brings up something nerdy, I gotta set them straight. You know what I'm saying?
I thank you, sir. It's the community appreciates it.
But without these, I love that we have these distribution websites for whatever you're doing now, because it just makes, like, with me, you mentioned that you're not so up to date on technology as far as computers and stuff. Me, I'm a trained monkey with this podcast. My old co-host told me exactly what buttons to push in what order, and I do it.
That's the kind of that's what I would need whenever I'm in anything regarding computers or technology. I'm like, look, just tell me what to push. If I don't push that in the right sequence, I'm gonna call you. Just be aware, because I'm gonna freak out, panic, or look it up on YouTube, see how to correct it.
Like I got a little online, or not online, but built into my computer soundboard, and it's all set exactly as I need it to be set. If it were to reset, I would be in a class 5 emergency. Red, calling all my friends up as quick as I could, because I could not podcast if it were to decide to.
Yeah, that's my thing with technology, man. It's I was actually, before I started going to the studio and recording with the guy that I record with now, his name is Rex. I was trying to do it on my own with these computer programs. I had this program called Fruit Loops, and there was a point when I realized I was watching more tutorial videos of how to work on Fruit Loops than I was actually trying to create music. And that's when I was like, okay, I got to get off this. This is not what I want to do.
That's me anytime I have to do anything out of the normal on Adobe Premiere. I'm spending more time YouTubing what to do. I had to blur out somebody's face at one point because a friend joined in, and then the guest went off the wall. And he's like, I work for the state, man. I need my face and name taken out. And I spent 2-3 hours Googling it, and it took me 5 minutes to do it.
You couldn't just tell him to put some tape over his camera? I mean, wouldn't that be a quick
He'd
fix?
already recorded it. We didn't expect it to go as crazy as it had gone.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But it was such a funny episode. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm releasing this.
Yeah.
It's like, I've never laughed harder on a recording. But so back to the music. Blue Sun just came out. You're wanting to wait a little bit, I hear, until releasing something else. Is that correct?
Yeah. The kind of like that slow drip that I mentioned earlier. Right. My idea was 2 months. Like the lifespan of a song, I think, should be about 2 months. You release it, there's maybe like hopefully 3 to 4 weeks of genuine interest. Hopefully it's gaining some sort of traction. Then after that, it should probably start to wane if it doesn't gain any real traction. And then we hit them again with another song and kind of just keep that going to just keep the name out there and just continue to hopefully put out, quality music that will generate genuine interest,
Right. And that way, it's like you said, quality over quantity.
Yeah. Music. And if the song isn't ready, like, then the song's not ready. There's no. That's kind of the fun thing about this project, that there's no real band, there's no shows that are coming up, there's no real sense of urgency to get stuff done. Like, this has to be done by this deadline. It's just whenever I think a song is ready, like, we'll put it out. We do set soft target dates. But if something isn't ready, if it doesn't feel right, then we'll just wait, and we'll, till it does feel right. Then we'll release it then.
And you had mentioned, you don't play shows. That would be a difficult thing to do with having a different singer every song, wouldn't it?
It would. We've been discussing it with some of the singers, because they're like, "Hey, so what's up with the show? Are we gonna try to put something together?" And I really didn't give them much thought before, because my whole idea was I don't want to try to put together a show if no one's going to show up. So I would want to have some real traction with these songs online, at least, so that when you promote the band, there'll be some interest as far as wait, let's go check out this band. But I was thinking we could probably put the singers in blocks, like because now it's starting to be Tobias has I think 4 songs, Sophia has 2. Uh, with Danny, I can probably bring up a song from an old band. We could do so pretty much do like segments where the singer would come on, sing 2 songs, singer maybe 3 songs, get off, bring out the new singer, and kind of go about it that way. And maybe one singer can sing a song for a singer that can't make it, and then we'll just expand it, the set that way.
Yeah, once you get too many singers in, though, I guess just go the Gorillas route, get a 3D band.
I,
I don't know.
I yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I would have to do something. It's gonna have to be something unique.
I have a friend who I've already mentioned him before, the drummer friend. He has a band, and I've mentioned, they wanted to do that route that you're taking of different singers, but they love playing live so much that they didn't want to not be able to play a show because the singer couldn't make it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's where you would have to have a singer that can kind of take over that particular song. The chores of whoever singer couldn't make it. Um, so, but when there's a will, there's a way. I don't see it as being that hard to pull off.
I don't know. I think with him, he just wants to have a set singer, but I really do like the idea of what you're doing with a different singer. And, cause I've heard bands do that before. Not quite to the extent of every other release being a different one or so, but, it keeps things interesting, especially if you've got the same core behind the singers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel very lucky. The drummer who's come in, he's an amazing drummer. They say that the recipe to having a good band is you have to have a good drummer, because a good drummer can take an average sounding band and make them sound great. And this guy's amazing. He plays with this band called Spirit Mother, and when I sent him one song and I was like, "Would you play over this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I got it." And then I was like, "Hey, well, if you played one, how about 2, 3, 4 songs?" And he's like, "Send them all." And right then I was like, "Yes." I was like, and yeah. So and then he's played on this last one. He recorded another one, and I was like, "Hey man, I'm just gonna keep sending these songs to you until you tell me you don't want to." And he's like, "Keep sending them." So I'm just like, yeah, having him on board makes me feel gives me definitely a certain level of confidence. My friend Andrew, he does all the synth stuff. Having him on, taking time out of his schedule to contribute, again, gives me just more confidence that the music should hopefully just keep getting better, with these professional musicians who are really about what they do, contributing.
It's always good to have talented friends around, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's I would be I'd be spinning my wheels if it wasn't for the people around me. They really I think they put my idea on the fast track, because, like I said before I started working with them, I mean, I was just watching YouTube videos on how to work Fruit Loops, getting absolutely nowhere. So very, very thankful for them.
Right. It's with any kind of content creation, whether it be YouTube videos, podcasts, music, it always helps to have a good team. And
Yeah.
that's what I love about my show is, even though I run it by myself, I've got, there's 10 people that I can call on to help me out when I need it. And especially musicians, like our theme song and intro or outro music, all done by friends of mine. And, it's the people I have on, almost always you can tell they've got a great team behind them. And we don't really often talk about the teams, but I want to say, like, heck yeah, if any bands that we've had on the show, check out like behind the scenes too, because not just the singer is the band, like we were saying earlier about frontman.
Yeah, yeah. The one of the recent documentaries I've seen, music documentaries, was this band talking about how they went from one studio to another, and how at the studio that they went to, like that the the first thing they noticed was the team there. You know, the staff, the engineers, how they really elevated their sound. It was just from going from one studio and one. They wouldn't necessarily trash the other studio. They were just like, there was something really special about this place and the people that worked there that, you know, elevated our sound, and we felt it and everybody knew it. And yeah, I think when, you know, a great restaurant, I mean, certain, you just know when you're around a good team. And I'm definitely very, very happy to be around people that are on board and helping me out.
I'm glad you got that, man. But we are running into near the end of our time, so I have to ask, is there anything else that's swimming around in your mind that you wanted to talk about today, or any last words?
I just want to mention the new song with Tobias Hawkins. It's gonna be out soon. It's called Denials. We set the date as July 23rd to be the release of this next single. It's pretty dark, and it goes down the some dark road, kind of like the Depeche Mode thing. I'm very excited about it, and I just wanted to thank Olivia once again for her work on Blue Sun, and I wanted to thank you for having me here, man. I saw the last interview that you did with I don't remember his name, but yeah, I've been watching these now, just kind of getting more into the podcast, just trying to see what's out there, you know, with the way you guys can go about your business, and I'm into it, man. It's very, very good. Thank you.
Thanks. I think the last one we had was the tattoo guy, Mike. Maybe, I don't know.
I saw it from it was a gentleman who
Peter Duff.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Peter Duff. Yeah, that was a good one. He's a good guy, and you know, welcome to the family of great people that I've had on the show, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And this has been the Confound Millennial, starring Steven Stirvin Michaels and featuring Izzy the Gent of Everything But the Everything.